G'day peoples. I've been back home now for a couple of weeks, and since I haven't had any better offers, I might just get stuck into some of the repairs. One of the things I've got to do is I'll put the brand new spare on the front, and that gets prepared for the two new tyres that I've got to get to go on the back. One thing I can't do with this big Milwaukee is it's far too powerful to do up the wheel nuts, so I've got to put it into the low range and do them up that way. And with the wheels back on the ground to hold it in place, I can do them up. One of the other good things you can do is, before you do any major work like I'm going to do on this axle, I need to make sure that if it falls off the stand, it's not going to land on me or land completely on the ground where I can't get it up. So what I do is I stick a wheel underneath the chassis, so if it does fall, it's still going to be off the ground. That should hold it in place. So I've jacked the rear axle up high enough to hopefully stop most of the oil coming out when I take the axle out. Time to get the calipers off. Push the pistons back in the calipers a bit, makes it easier to get them off, and more importantly, easier to get them back on again. Right, let's just sit that up there. Now, see if we can get this rotor off. Alright, my rotor off. Now before I undo these, I might see if there's any movement. Looks like my little repair held. That's cool. Well, it got me, I don't know, 3,000 k's back home again. Locking tab washer just spins around. Looks like where the tab's broken off. Maybe it faces inwards. Let's try and get this out. Yeah, looks like the tab was facing down before it broke off. So that's the locking tab washer. And you can see the tab is stuck down there in the between the bearing and the axle in the slot there. So let's get it out. Come on. Oh. There it is. Genuine Nissan washer lock nut. So as far as I can work out, they're the same for the H233 and the H260. Let's see if it fits. Now I've got the tab facing downwards to go into that slot, and Beautiful. Two different faces. There's a bevel on one side with a sort of machined face to it. The other side is just plain cast looking. So the beveled side goes down. Don't you hate it when something comes off easy, but then won't go back on again? There we go. We're away. Since I don't have a tube spanner to be able to get in there, looks like it's going back up with the cold chisel. Slight little knocking I can feel there, so I'll keep going. Don't feel any movement. And the nut does feel fairly tight. It does spin freely. Okay, the locking tab washer is now locked against the nut. Okay, now there is a O-ring seal that seals the axle tube to the flange. So we'll clean that up. A little bit of greasy on it. Just lube it up a bit. Rack that back on. So that's back in place. Yeah, well, I had no luck trying to get that spring ring in back into the seal. So I've just left it out. The seal is still in there, but that spring ring is not. So I'm guessing the pressure to hold the seal tight against the shaft is not going to be as good. But we'll put it back together and see how much it leaks. One more job done. So you're probably wondering why I put a bit of grease on the wheel studs, and that's because if you've got a little bit of lubrication on there, they'll tighten up nice and smoothly and get right up to the torque point without any binding. Because sometimes if you've got rusty looking wheel studs, when the nut does up, it actually binds on the rust and stops it from actually getting to the correct tightness. So by putting a little bit of lube on it, it just does it nice and smoothly and evenly across all of them. Never had a problem in more than 1,000,000 Ks, so I can't see any problem with doing it. Okay, we're just going to get a couple of new tyres so you can see the split there. You can see all these other little splits. And this was the other rim that was on the back. See the split in there, split in there, split there, split there, split there. So anyway, better go organise some new tyres, and I'll see you on the next episode.